Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I'm Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us, coming to you from Washington's premier indoor shooting facility. Of course, that's Security Gun Club right here in Woodinville, Washington. Been geeking out a little bit more about the fallout of the 2024 election on the national level, and I think I have come to a potential conclusion, which you will see is not too crazy, about how we could essentially not only answer the assault weapon and magazine ban question once and for all, but then secure that decision for generations to come. Don't believe me? It's actually pretty simple, and it's all possible due to President Trump winning re-election. So today, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about how to protect assault weapons and magazines for generations to come.
First individual on call, and for whatever reason, if that goes through, we have actually 3 layers. So we have another and another. So if it continues to ring, it goes from one phone to the next to the next. So we're betting on our chances. The highly compensated team that we have is going to take that phone call. And then from there, they have that privilege, right? They have the attorney-client privilege and that right to share with them, our attorneys, of what just took place. We have a nationwide team of attorneys that's going to be able to reach out to our Arizona attorney to get them on the horn immediately. You know, we've had cases all over the country. Now,
You're not truly prepared unless you have Right to Bear back you. You will always get an attorney-answered hotline, so you will always have a confidential phone call. There are no cap limits for either civil or criminal defense. This covers all forms of self-defense. So from a fist to a firearm, from a fat lip to a dead body, you are covered, and you will have some of the nation's most passionate 2A attorneys in your corner fighting for you. And right now, if you visit my friends at protectwithbear.com and you use the promo code WGL, you will receive 10% off. Listen, you need to protect yourself so that you can protect them. Visit my good friends at protectwithbear.com. Okay, America, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the crossroads of the fact that President Donald J. Trump will be returning to the White House, Inauguration Day, January 2025, and the United States Supreme Court has an assault weapon ban sitting right there on the doorstep. What could possibly happen? Well, this is what I want you to think about, okay? So we know that there's a case out there called Snope v. Brown. Snope v. Brown comes out of Maryland. It involves a ban of assault weapons, as the state of Maryland defines them, as well as magazines that hold more than 10 rounds. This is an issue that many states continue to struggle with. There is a lot of litigation ongoing all around the country over states that have attempted to disarm their citizens in that fashion. We know that under the current court, as it sits today, were the Snope case to be accepted for review, we in all likelihood would get a ruling that the text of the Second Amendment does in fact cover possession of these firearms. Therefore, we have to do a historical analysis to see if we have a tradition of banning these types of firearms. But that since that historical analysis was already done in the Heller case, and actually even before that in the Miller case, we realized that the only types of platforms of firearms that we can just outright ban are those that are dangerous and unusual. And since there's nothing unusual about these platforms of firearms, nothing unusual about these types of magazines, they cannot be banned. End of story. That strikes down assault weapon bans and magazine bans. Now, there are 2 justices that we're going to focus on. One is Justice Clarence Thomas, and the other one is Justice Alito. Why is that? Well, Justice Thomas is 76 years old. Justice Alito is 74 years old. Of the conservative justices, they are the 2 elder statesmen, okay? Now, I have no doubt in my mind that Justice Thomas would love nothing more than to get a crack at an assault weapon ban. And candidly, I think a close second is going to be Justice Alito. And for that reason, I do believe that we are likely to see the Snope case accepted, because I also believe that Justice Kavanaugh will be on board, and at that point, we only need one more justice. Now, after they spiked the football on the gun grabbers, okay, and absolutely positively announced that assault weapon bans and magazine bans are unconstitutional, complete violation of the Second Amendment, what we could see then is both Justice Thomas and Justice Alito choose to retire. And at that point, if we're talking pre-midterm, and President Trump has the majority in the Senate as well, he could then appoint 2 new conservative justices in their late 40s or early 50s. Couple that with the fact that President Trump has already appointed 3 justices during his first term in office, you literally have a majority of the Supreme Court, 5 justices at that point, that would be Donald Trump appointees, and then Justice John Roberts, who I believe was a George W. Bush appointee. So you'd still have a 6-3 majority, but even if you lost that somewhere down the road because of a change in the White House and Justice Roberts choosing to retire, you still would literally have a 5-justice majority, of which all of those judges were Donald Trump appointees. And I know there's been great debate whether Donald Trump's a good Second Amendment president or a bad Second Amendment president. I can tell you he's going to be much better than his opponent would have been in the 2024 election. But one of the things, and it is undeniable, is that Donald Trump has done an excellent job of appointing judges, not just at the Supreme Court level, but when you take a look at all the lower federal court benches, you will see that his judges, as related to Second Amendment issues, are performing better than any other presidential appointed judges, with the exception of President George W. Bush. Justice Kavanaugh is 59, Justice Amy Coney Barrett is 52, Justice Neil Gorsuch is 57. That means if we could, one, answer the Snope question once and for all, end the misery of assault weapon bans and magazine bans, and then have 2 new Supreme Court justices appointed that were in their late 40s, early 50s, you would literally have a generational majority on the Supreme Court that would uphold that Snope case for at least the foreseeable future. Listen, I know it's all speculative and it's a bunch of what ifs and all the stars have to line up, but when you think about it, everything is right there, and none of it really is a big stretch. Listen, if you got any more questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, you guys should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now. But if you don't, that's okay. That information's down there in the description box. If you got an idea for a video we should be doing around here, you click on that link right there. You let us know. If we do it, it's because it was better than any idea we could have come up with. If all you want to do is just subscribe to our monthly newsletter, the ability to do all of that is down there in the description box. And then finally, and most importantly, let's remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation, how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching, and stay safe.